Okay, so sometimes we need to write data to a file, right? We want to save the calculations, the measurements that we did in your code. So we need to open the file and then save the data to it, right? So let's do that. Okay, so use the open keyword, okay, and then the name of the file, okay, and then the mode of opening the file. So when you say mode, you want to write on it, so use W, use R for reading, and then A for appending. Let's say there's an existing file and you want to add a data to that file. Okay, so for now we'll be writing data to a file. So we'll be creating, Python will create a file for you, okay? And we need a variable attached to that file. So our handle, um, handle is the name of that variable for our file. So if we run this, nothing happens, okay? But if you look at your variables, you now have this text input output wrapper. Okay, let me just delete these existing variables. All right, there. We have handle here, and then if you want to write some data to it, okay, so maybe we can add a loop. Say this one, we want to write these numbers. So what we do is the handle of our files, handle, and then that write is the function or method under that file, and let's write I, okay. And of course, after doing the writing, we need to close it. So handle that close. Okay. So let's run this. And yeah, one more thing. Of course, we have to convert the number to a string, okay? Because we can only write a string to a text. Alright, so let's open our Google Drive. So this is part of the Google Drive, the same folder as our Python notebook. So we have created this file, testfile.txt, and there you have the number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so take note, we did not use the keyword print. We use the write function or the write method for that file. Now if you want to add spaces between these numbers, of course we can always do that by adding or concatenating a space, and then let's just run it. And once we have run it, we can open that file. Let's close this one first, open it again, and then there are already spaces. So the one here is just the line number, okay? So you have this series of numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you want to place the numbers at different rows, okay, then you need to add this \n, okay, so that the next number will go to the next line. Let's run this. Of course, we forgot to close it. Then open it, and there it is. Okay, so we have now the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 arranged in column format. Okay. All right. Now, if you want, you can edit this again and then run it again just to make sure that I'm not tricking you. Alright, so we need to refresh this folder. Then now we have the text file. Okay, it's there. Alright, so let's say we want to append some data to this file. So we already closed it. Maybe we could create another cell. Okay, so handle append, and same thing, we need to open it. Okay, and then let's add some numbers. Okay, from, let's say, from 11. Let's start with 10, of course, and then 21. Okay, and then let's also close this one. Yeah. So, okay, I'm sorry. This should be append, and also this one should be a. Alright, let's close this test file.txt, open it, and then there. Oh, okay. When we started creating that file a while ago, okay, um, it already override or overwritten the existing file. So let's delete this one just to show it to you guys. Okay, so if I comment it out, so if you can see, there's a sharp sign or hashtag symbol here at the front. It means that the line becomes just a comment. Okay, it will not be transformed to it will not be executed basically. Okay, if we run it and refresh this, you can see a file has already been created just by using this statement open. Okay, and when we um, create a new file, let's say W, it overwrites the existing file. Okay, so if we want to append our data, we need to change the mode of opening that file, change it to A so that we can just append the data to it. Okay, there. So we're able to write, append, and of course the last thing that we need to do is read this data. Right? Okay, let's do that. Let's close this file. Well, we have already closed them. Let's create another code, and then this time it's for reading. Okay, handle read. Maybe I can just do it like this, handle read, and change the mode to read. There's also RW for read write. If you want, you can read at the same time write on it. But I wouldn't suggest that. Sometimes we want to preserve the file, the raw file, and then the new generated file. We distinct them. Make sure there's a distinction between the two files. Okay, so and then we want to read the file. Okay, and so of course we need to close it. Okay, so now how do we read that file? Of course, using the read function. Okay, that would make sense, right? So handle read. Okay. Okay. So of course we have to print it out. Okay, let's print out what we have read, and of course it's the numbers. Okay, so let's assign a variable to it. Oh, sorry. And then let's check the variable type for x. And then there, it's a string. Okay, as usual, it should be a string. Okay, and you can actually see the characters, the values here: 0, next line, next line. Sorry, next line 1, next line 2, next line 3, and so on. Alright, so if we, let's say, x of 0, use x of 0, index the, of course we have to print it out. Since we have handle read close, okay, it will not display the value if we don't use the print function. If it's 1, okay, it's empty. If it's 2, take note, it's a string, therefore, okay, we have considered the spaces between these numbers, okay, are actually characters. These are actually characters. Right? So how do we read this file as as numbers? Because these are all characters. Basically, we have to convert them sometimes. So I'll give you an example for this one. So instead of using read, okay, there's an alternative for that, which is read line. Okay, the read line method will only read one line okay, from that file. So if I use read line here and then print x, it will only get the first line, which is for this one is 0. If I read it again, okay, and display the value, okay, then I'll get 1. Okay. And then 2. Alright. So as you can see, I think you can see the pattern. There's a repetitive statements, and we can actually use these we can actually use a loop for this. No? So first let's read the file so that we can get the total length of the file. Okay, file length will be the length of this just use a loop here. Let's use infinite loop. So we have read this one. The first number normally, I mean, there's always a number for the first time reading the file, and then we can actually convert that to an integer. And maybe we can create a list of the numbers. We'll create an empty list, and then after that we'll just keep on adding the numbers being read. Okay, and then we'll append the number x. Then after that we have to read it again because there's a space after that. Just go back here, get an integer, and then append it. Okay. Then what we'll do is try because once we have read all the lines, we might get some errors. Then we'll use break. This one, and then we'll just print next now. And then there, right? We're able to contain the numbers. Oh, by the way, it's all even, so it means we can actually remove this one. And then there, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, we are able to read the content of the files, so we're able to write, append, and then also